Good evening. Myself Ratnesh Kumar Mishra, and today I am here to teach all of you the Indian polity and constitution. And today we discuss about the topic of fundamental rights. In this topic, we discuss that what are the fundamental rights, why we need fundamental rights, and there are what type of the fundamental rights are given in the Indian Constitution. So let's we start the topic fundamental rights. Fundamental rights. Clear? So what are the fundamental rights? Fundamental rights are essential rights for the development of for the development of thought and the and personality of the citizens. So fundamental rights are the form of the rights which are essential for the citizens of any country for the thought and personality development of any nation. So we can say that if any constitution is providing the fundamental rights to the citizens of their citizens, fundamental rights are helpful to develop the thought and personality of the citizens of any country. Clear? So we learn that what are the fundamental rights. Clear? We can also say that these are basic human rights. These are basic human rights. Okay? These are basic human rights or the essential rights. Okay? Now we see that why these rights are fundamental. Why these rights are fundamental. Fundamental. Okay? Why these rights are fundamental. So in this we have to know things that they are enshrined in the constitution. Clear? They are enshrined in the constitution, and these are justificable. It means enforceable in nature. Enforceable in. So there are 2 points that why we tell all these rights, why we ask all these rights are fundamental. So they are enshrined in the constitution, and these are justifiable or the enforceable in nature. So these are the 2 points that conclude that these the rights are given in the Constitution of India. Why these are fundamental rights? Okay. Now we see that The part 3, fundamental rights. Fundamental rights. Part 3, from Article 12 to 5. From Article 12 to 35. 12 to 35. So the fundamental rights are given in the part 3 of the Indian Constitution, and the articles from 12 to 35 deals with the provisions of the fundamental rights given in the Constitution of India. Now we see that how many fundamental rights are currently given by the Constitution of India. So there are 6 fundamental rights. There are 6 fundamental rights. There are 6 fundamental rights are given in Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution. In Indian Constitution. On all these 6 are right to equality, right to equality from Article 14 to 18, right to freedom, right to freedom from Article 19 to 22, right against exploitation, Article 23 and 24. Right to religious freedom, right to religious freedom, right to religious freedom from Article 25 to 28. Cultural and educational rights for minorities, cultural and educational rights 29 to 30. And the most important is the last fundamental right given in the Constitution of India, right to constitutional remedies. Right to constitutional remedies under Article 30. These are the 6 fundamental rights given in the Constitution of India, and these are right to equality from 14 to Article 18, right to freedom from Article 19 to 22, right against exploitation from Article 23 to 24, and right to religious freedom from Article 25 to 28. Educational and cultural rights provided to some communities from Article 29 and 30, and the most important one of the fundamental rights given in the Constitution of India, that right to constitutional remedies under Article 32. There was initially, on the commencement of the Constitution of India, there was also 7 fundamental rights, and one of them, that the right to property, was revoked by the Janata Party government in 1978. The most disputed fundamental rights given in the Constitution of India, the right to property, and that fundamental right was right to property given under Article 19 clause F and under Article 31 of the Constitution of India of Part 3. And also the first constitutional amendment made by the Parliament of India in Constitution of India was also due to the right to property. When the different state governments passed the laws regarding the land reforms, the people's approaches to the Supreme Court and High Courts to claims that the right to hold the property is a fundamental right and government cannot snatch these rights due to legislature due to by the legislation, and due to this the Nehru government decided to amend the part 3 of the Indian Constitution, and from 1952 to 1978 there are so many changes made by the Parliament of India in the right to property. Clear? And finally it was revoked by the Janata Party government in 1978. Clear? Now we see the Article 12. Article 12. It states that all government officials union and state legislature union and state legislature legislature local governing bodies governing bodies definition of state definition of state given under Article 12 and Article 36 of the Indian Constitution, and it states that all the government official all the and all the executive bodies are the part of the state. ये कौन सी ये सारी क्या है ये स्टेट्स के अंदर आती हैं और यहीं पर स्टेट की डेफिनेशन दी गई. Here Article 12 the definition of state, and Article 12 states that all the government official union and state legislature local governing bodies and all executive bodies under the territory of India are the part of the state. So Article 12 provide a definition of the states, or it states that which officials are working under the territory of India shall be the part of the state. Clear? Now we see about Article 13. Article 13 of the Indian Constitution. It says laws inconsistent inconsistent, consistent and and derogation derogation of fundamental rights of fundamental rights shall be declared null and void. Null and void. It means if any law made by the Parliament of India or the any state legislature of any state government, if inconsistent with the fundamental rights, or it is derogating the fundamental rights of the citizens of India, shall be declared null and void. Null and void. लॉज। अभी बेटा यहाँ पे सबसे बड़ी आती है कि इस लॉ में इंक्लूड क्या होगा, इस लॉ में जो होगा इसमें इंक्लूड क्या होगा। तो बेटा इसमें ऑर्डिनेंसेस आएंगे, कोई ऑर्डिनेंस आया है, ठीक है, या फिर कोई ऑर्डर है, या कोई बाई लॉ है, या कोई बाई लॉ है, या फिर कोई रूल है, या फिर कोई लेजिस्लेशन है, या फिर कोई लेजिस्लेशन है। तो ये सारे क्या होंगे, ये लॉ के पार्ट होंगे। और या फिर कोई नोटिफिकेशन है, या फिर कोई नोटिफिकेशन है, या फिर बेटा कोई कस्टम है। तो ये सारे किसके पार्ट होंगे, ये सारे लॉ के पार्ट होंगे। और अगर इन सब में से कोई भी इनकंसिस्टेंट है with the fundamental rights, or all of them, if anyone is derogating the fundamental rights of the citizens of India, shall be inquired by the Honorable Supreme Court of India under Article 13 Clause 2. And if the judiciary or the Supreme Court of India found that the law made by the legislature is unconstitutional, the law shall be declared as null and void, and there shall be no any emergence of the law after that declaration. Clear? Got that point? Clear? Now we see the fundamental rights given in our constitution. Now we talk about the first, right to equality. Right to equality. Clear? From Article 14 to 80. From Article 14 to 80. Article 14 of the Constitution of India states that that every citizen of every person, every person shall have right to equality before law, equality before law, and equal protection by law, and equal protection by law, equal protection by law. It means better if someone is claiming for the fundamental rights under Article 14, the right to equality shall be shall be equality before law. It means तो मैं अभी मीटिंग में हूँ, मैं कॉल करता हूँ संजय सिंह की आवाज़। Equality before law. It means every person, there shall be no any discrimination that the rich are the richest citizen of India and the poorest citizens of India. There shall be no any discrimination by the in the eyes of law. Every person have equality in the eyes of law. It means every person is equal in eyes of law. Clear? Equal protection by law. It means every person have treated by the same manner by according to the by same manner according to the under same circumstances under same circumstances the law will treat people in the same manner. The law will treat every person in the same manner. It means it's provide a ground that if a person is committing for any crime, clear, the court will consider the circumstances of that crime also during the persecution. क्लियर? अगर कोई भी व्यक्ति कोई अपराध करता है तो अगर उसे प्रोटेक्शन बाय लॉ मिलना है तो ये सोचा जाएगा कि किन परिस्थितियों में उस व्यक्ति ने अपराध किया. व्हाट आर द circumstances of that time when the crime was committed by the person. Clear? It was an negative in nature. It was negative in nature and it was positive in nature. The second one is positive in nature. Clear? Now we see the person. What do you mean by person? What do you mean by person? So according to the Supreme Court of India, clear, person includes citizen, non-citizen, any company, any organization, any trust or any NGO. It means all of them shall be treated as the person. It doesn't matter that they are citizens or non-citizens. If any person is not the citizen of India but residing in the territory of India shall be also eligible to claim the right to equality before law and equal protection by law given under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. Let's describe it. If any citizen of Nigeria residing in the territory of India and he commits for any crime, he shall have also the right to equality before law and equal protection by law. It means it's not only given to the citizens of India, it also provided by the Constitution of India to every person who is residing or whose residence is under the territory of India. Clear that point? Have you got my point? So, Article 14 provides a clear ground for every person who is residing in the territory of India to equality before law and equal protection by Now we talk about Article 50. Provision of provision of discrimination. मतलब इसमें डिस्क्रिमिनेशन पर प्रोविजन क्या किया गया है, इम्पोज किया गया है. एंड इट सेज दैट नो सिटीजन शैल no citizen shall no citizen shall on grounds of only on grounds of only on grounds of only religion religion race caste 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 gender and birthplace and birthplace and birthplace birthplace denied access public place use of tanks use of tanks wells park or any public place or any public place or any public place. It means the state or the any person cannot restrict any citizen of India to access the public places or the use of tanks, wells and parks and the use of tanks, wells and parks on the grounds of only religion, caste, sex, birthplace and race. Is that clear? So there are a clear provisions to be prohibit the discrimination on the grounds of these caste, sex, birthplace, race and religion. So these are the five grounds in which the state or any person cannot discriminate anyone. But there are some exceptions of that. There are some exceptions. Okay. Article 15 clause 3 states that state can provide a special provision for the welfare of women, child and deprived classes. Clear? So clause 3 of the article 15 also provide the grounds for the special provisions made for the welfare of women, child and deprived classes. Deprived classes, it means women, child, SC, ST and OBC, and also included EWS class. Clear? EWS class. Clear? So I think all of you getting my points, that what are the major provisions and 15.4 provides the special provisions for educationally educationally and socially backward classes and socially backward classes and socially backward classes. So there are two exceptions, and also the Article 15 clause 5 state that state can state can provide special provisions or 10% reservation for EWS for EWS. बेटा ये कहाँ दिया जाएगा? ये दिया जाएगा एडमिशंस में दिया जाएगा. कहाँ पे दिया जाएगा? एडमिशंस में दिया जाएगा. अगर हम किसी इंस्टीट्यूट में एडमिशन, इफ वी आर गोइंग टू टेक द एडमिशन इन एनी इंस्टीट्यूशन under the union government of India or the any state government of India, shall be provided 10% reservation for the economically weaker section. For the economically weaker section. Clear? So these three are the special provisions given under Article 15 in sub clauses 3, 4 and 5. And these are also the exceptions of the Article 15 clause 1. It violates the provisions given under Article 15 clause 1 that the state or any person shall not discriminate with any citizen India on the grounds of caste, religion, sex, birthplace and caste, religion, sex, race and birthplace. There are 5 grounds given in the Constitution of India. Clear? If the commission asks all of you a question that which one is not a ground of discrimination given in Article 15, then you have to answer that language and residence. Language and residence. So on the grounds of language and residence, under Article 15, the union government or any state government shall be discriminated within the city. Got my point? Now we see the Article 16 of the Indian Constitution. Article 16. Article 16 of the Indian Constitution. It states that the state will provide equality of opportunity to the every citizen of India in the matters of public employment. Equality of opportunity. Equality of opportunity. Opportunity in the matters of public employment. In the matters of public employment. It means better if the government of India or the any state government issue any notification for the vacancies in any department, they cannot discriminate within the citizens of India on the grounds of caste, religion, sex, birthplace and race given in under Article 15 clause 1. Clear? It means the state will provide equal opportunity to the every citizen of India. Clear? And it also states that all the offices shall be open for the citizens. All the offices shall be open for the citizens. Shall be open for the citizens. Means beta, if I am the citizen of India, I can hold the office of the Prime Minister, office of the President of India, office of the any Union Minister of Union Government, and also the office of the Governor of any state, and also the office of the Chief Minister of any state, and any government office which is under the Union Government or the State Government of India within the territory of India. It means I have equal access to hold the any office of the government of India. If I am eligible, if I am fulfilling the requirement for that office, I have a right to hold that office. There is no any type of discrimination by the state which shall be denied me or prohibit me to hold that office. It means I am free to fight the elections of the president. I am free to the fight of the fight the elections of the state legislative assemblies and also the Parliament of India. Every office which works under the territory of India, under the state or any union government of India, or the state or union government of India, shall be open for every citizen. Shall be open for every. Is that clear? Clear? चलो बेटा, अब यहीं पे one thing more. The Article 16 clause 3 states that state can appoint, state can make the state can impose the state can impose the requirement of residence of within state and the laws regarding this shall be made by the Parliament of India. 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 Shall be made by the Parliament. And also in Article 16, the provisions for the reservation are also given. The provisions for reservation for SC, ST and OBC and EWS are also given under Article 16. So Article 16 also provide the grounds for the reservation of the post for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes also the other backward classes, and also the economically weaker section. Clear? So, Article 16.4, 16.5 and 16.6 is the exceptions of the Article 16 clause 1. Got it? If the commission asks you the question that which one of them is the exception of the Article 16 clause 1, so these three are the exceptions of the Article clause 16. Got my point? So as I want to explain all of you that Article 16 states that the state will provide equal opportunity in the matters of the public employment to the every citizen of India. But state can provide reservation in the appointment of the public employment for the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, other backward classes and economically weaker sections. So Article 16 clause 3, 16 clause 4, 16 clause 5 and 16 clause 6 provide the grounds for the reservations of the SC and ST, OBC and economically weaker sections. So now we see the Article 17. Now we see the Article 17. Abolition of untouchability. Article 16. Abolition of untouchability. But first of all, we have to know that what is untouchability. What is untouchability? Clear? It means upper classes discriminate to lower classes. If I am born in a Brahman family and someone who is born in Dalit family, and I told him that I cannot share my food with you and I cannot share my room with you, it is a discrimination and it is a form of untouchability. It is a form of untouchability. Clear? And the Article 17 provides the grounds that practice of untouchability in the any form, practice of untouchability in any form shall be a crime, a criminal offense. Shall be a criminal. And also remember beta, Article 17 is absolute in nature. Is absolute in nature. Is absolute in nature. And it also enforced by parliament by legislature. It means better, if any person support the untouchability shall be any form, shall be persecuted for the criminal offense. And it was an absolute right in nature. There is no any reasonable ground of reasonable restrictions for the Article 17 is given in the Constitution of India. And that's why this is absolute in nature. This is absolute in nature. Remember, that the Article 17 of the Indian Constitution is absolute in nature. Why? Because there is no any ground of reasonable restrictions given in the Constitution of India for the article. Okay. Now B. It also enforced by the Parliament of India by through the legislature. Clear. It is also not so self-implemented. Yeah? It was implemented by the Parliament of India through the legislation. And for that implementation of Article 17, Parliament passes two laws. Parliament passes two laws. Civil Right Acts, Civil Right Acts 1955 and SC/ST Act 1989. So these are two legislations passed by the Parliament of India to implement the Article 17 to prohibit the practice of untouchability in any form. Untouchability in any. Got my point? So these are the major provisions given in the Constitution of India to be eliminate the practice of untouchability, and for that, for the elimination of the practice of untouchability, the Parliament of India passes two laws: Civil Rights Acts 1955 and SC/ST Act 1989. And SC/ST Act 1989. Got my point? So the last one of the right to equality, Article 18. Article 18. Article 18 of the Indian Constitution. Abolition of titles. Abolition of titles. Abolition of titles. Okay. It means beta, the person, no person who is not a citizen of India, clear? Any person shall not hold any degree which shows privileges. Privileges. It shows privileges. Yeah. It means I cannot put anything before my name which shows that I have some privileges in society. But the exceptions are academic and military degrees and military degrees and military degrees and military degrees. So any person can hold or put the academic and military degrees before their names. Before their names. And if any person, Article 18 Clause 1, any person who is working under the Union Government of India or the State Government of India shall be take the degree given by any foreign state, given by any foreign state, given by any foreign state by the assent of president, by the assent of president, by the assent of president. It means if a person who is working under the government of under the union or state government of India, and if any foreign authority, if any foreign state providing them any degree, that person shall be eligible to take that type of degree with the permission of President of India. Clear? And it shows also in Article Clause 2 that if a person, sorry, it was 2, Article Clause 2. Clear? So these are the major provisions related article clause 18 clause 2 states article 18 clause 2 state that no any person shall be accept any type of degree from the foreign state. Clear? अब एक बेटा यहाँ पे मुद्दा उठा, देयर आर वन इशू रेज्ड an issue about the Bharat Ratna Padam Vibhushan Padam Vibhushan Padam Bhushan and the other awards given by the government of India, highest civilian awards given by the government of India. And SC declared that these are not degrees, these are awards. Supreme Court states that the Bharat Ratna, Padam Vibhushan and all other civilian awards given by the government of India are not degrees. These all are awards, and these all are given to that person who have some special eligibility or some special work about any particular case. Clear? But Supreme Court also states that any person awarded by these awards shall not be used. These awards, the titles of these awards before or after their names. Clear? So, clear one thing, that the state cannot confer any type of degree to the citizen of India, but if any person have educational or academic and military degrees, they can put or use that degrees before their names. Example, that if I have done my PhD in political science, after that I can refer doctor before my name, and if I am working as a professor in any college or any university, I can also put the word professor before my name. And if I am an army employee and I have a post of captain, major, lieutenant, governor, and any type of post in the military services, I can put the name of that post before my name. Clear? And these are the academic and military degrees are the exceptions of Article 80. And also the highest civilian award awarded by the government of India is not comes under the degrees. These all are awards. So now we will stop the discussion. I will move forward in my next class. So subscribe our channel and please provide your valuable comments about that class, like and subscribe and also share. So we will meet in next class. Thank you.